Hey guys, welcome to the first video of Algebra 1. So this is the Algebra 1 Structure and Method book by publishers McDougall Littell. And I'm really excited to start this video series because I like math even more than I like physics, if you can believe that. So let's dive right into it. 1-1, which is an introduction to variables and variable equations. Now I'm sure, you've all taken pre-algebra, I'm sure you all know what what variables are. But let me give you a working definition. Let's call a variable x. That's what variables are generally named, x, okay? And a variable is just a representation of any number value. It's a representation. It's a symbol. We'll call these symbols. Symbolic representation of any number value. So x can equal 4, can equal negative 103, it can equal 10, it can equal 15, or it can equal all of those. And we'll get into that more with quadratics and algebra 2 and whatnot. But yes, so it's a symbolic representation of any value or any number value. And it's often used when you don't know that number value and you want to find it out. So, and they don't have to be letters, like x is a letter. I mean, you can also have a or b, which are letters, but you can have things like pi. I'm sure you guys have all seen pi. That's not a letter in our alphabet, but it stands for a number value, a numeric value, 3.1415963, and then it goes on, and that's all I've memorized. But then there's things like theta, and phi, and there's a lot of different symbols that you'll get into later. So those are all variables because they can variable. Vary means change, basically. Variable change. It's prone to change, and since we don't know this value, we don't know what the value of x is. It's called a variable because it could be anything at that point. So let's talk a little bit about variable expressions and equations. So a variable equation or expression is simply an equation that has a variable in it. So if you have something like this, 3 times, that little dot is times, if you didn't know that, times x times 4, that's equals, I don't know, equals, let's see, 24, okay? That would be called a variable equation, because it contains a variable x, and we don't know what x is. That's why it's called a variable. Okay, it's a symbolic representation. It has a value, but we don't know what it is yet. I mean, maybe you do because you're good at math in your head, but it has a value. So let's work at that a little bit. How do we solve variable equations? Well, you can also call this, 3 times x is the same, you can write that as 3x, okay? And then times 4, okay? So now let's set that equal to 24 again. And let's do some very simple algebra. You always want to get x alone. You always want the variable alone, okay, to find what it's equal to. So let's do something real quick. Let's go, let's get rid of that 4, okay? So let's divide both sides by 4, because the inverse of multiplication is division, okay? The inverse of multiplication is division. So let's divide by 4, divide by 4. So now we know that 3x is equal to 6. Now let's do the same thing. Divide by 3, and we know that x is equal to 2. Let's plug our value in for this symbol over here. 3 times 2 times 4, sure enough, equals 24, right? 6 times 4 is 24, or another way you can think of it, which is how I thought of it, is 3 times 4 is 12, times 2 is 24, okay? And that's even how you could do it in your head if you so wanted to. 3 times 4, 12, 24 divided by 12 is 2, and that's what this is. So if you did that in your head, great, because that was a very simple one. So now let's dive into, let's see, let's do PEMDAS. So I don't know if you guys have heard of PEMDAS before, but it's a way to represent functions in an equation, and it's used widely through the rest of math. PEMDAS, sorry, that is definitely an M, but I'm just trying to clean it up a little bit. Oops. All right, let's clean this up. Alright, PEMDAS. PEMDAS, okay? And each one of these, each letter stands for something else. So, P, E, M, D, A, and S. What does P stand for? Parentheses, E, exponents, M, multiplication, D, division, A, addition, and S, subtraction. So let me ask you this. If you have an equation like this, 3 times 4 minus 2 plus 3 equals what? I mean, how do you solve that? Well, you'll notice that if you, what do you start with? Do you start with 3 times 4? Do you start with 4 minus 2? Do you start with negative 2 plus 3? What do you start with? Well, PEMDAS tells us just that. Because you'll notice that if you start with negative 2 plus 3 and then do the rest of it, you'll end up with a different answer than you will if you do 3 times 4. So let's start with negative 2 plus 3. So that's 1. And so then we have 3 times 4. So we have plus 1, positive 1, negative 2 plus 3. So now we have 12 plus 1, 13. But that's not right because we know PEMDAS. And we know what PEMDAS says is that it gives us an order to do our work in. So let's start with this equation again. Let's go back to this same equation. I don't know why I just erased it. 3 times 4 minus 2 plus 3. Okay? So PEMDAS. Are there any identify parentheses? We always do parentheses first. No parentheses. Are there any exponents? No exponents. Okay? No exponents, no parentheses. Now we get to M, multiplication. Is there multiplication? Yes, there is multiplication. 3 times 4. So we must do that first. So we have 12 minus 2 plus 3 equals what? Now we go to division. Is there any division? No, no division. Addition. Is there some addition? Negative 2 plus 3. Yes, there is some addition. Okay? But let me tell you, subtraction and addition are often interchangeable, or they're always interchangeable, as well as division and multiplication. So you can always, it doesn't matter what you do first, division, multiplication, addition, subtraction. So we can do 12 minus 2 plus 3 or negative 2 plus 3. It doesn't matter which we do first, but so let's do addition first just because that's what it says. Negative 2 plus 3, 12 plus 1 equals 13. Okay, this was a very odd case in which it came out to be the same no matter what we did first. And that is strange, and it doesn't always happen. I can guarantee you it won't always happen. But let's try another one. Okay, so, oops. Sorry, just trying to clear it. Just getting some space. Let's try another one with, let's do it with every single thing it has. Every single thing that PEMDAS says. So let's go 3 plus 4 times 2 squared plus 3 divided by 2. Okay, that's going to be some crazy math. Okay, so start with parentheses. We got parentheses. Okay, 7, right? 7. Do what's in the parentheses first. Now we got exponents. Times 4. 2 squared is 4, right? Now, what do we have? Multiplication. So where's all our multiplication? 7 times 4, okay? So let's just do plus 3 divided by 2. We'll finish it out. Equals. But then we have to do our multiplication. So 7 times 4, we know that is 36. Sorry, 36. And then, so let's just write 36. And then we have plus 2 divided by 2. Which plus 3 divided by 2? Which do we have to do first? Well, we definitely have to do division first. Division comes before addition. So let's divide that bad boy by 2. And we will get, very quickly, let me just clear it. Where's my pen tool? Okay, so let's divide 36 by 2. And what do we get? We get 18. Okay, so, alright, now we have all our operations done, that done, and we just have addition left plus 3. We know this all equals 21. Okay, so that's a very simple way of solving variable equations using PEMDAS, and I'll see you in the next video.